Hey everybody, this is Chris DeFurio with Keys to the Shop. I hope you're doing well. This is a shift break episode. A happy Thursday to you. So today's episode, we're talking about don't just do it. And what I'm talking about specifically is delegation and the propensity for managers. You didn't get to be a manager usually unless you've got some skills to take over the work for people in order to expedite the work, in order to make sure that the work gets done right. Whatever the reason is, the I'll just do it mentality is something that you find often. It's not just managers, oftentimes senior baristas that have been around a while working with someone who hasn't will do this also. So this could be talking to you too. Needless to say, you could guess that I think this is kind of a problem because of a few things. So basically, I think the whole I'll just do it myself thing is kind of a get out of jail free card that's used way too much in cafes. And it ends up doing two things. So first, it robs the employee, the one who is supposed to be delegated the work, robs them of the learning process, of genuine accountability and potential for growth in their work. Now, I forget who said this, but happiness is essentially progress. When you make progress on something that's meaningful to you, or you become more skilled, you feel good. And by just doing it yourself and constantly keeping the employees around you in a state of permanent infancy, you're basically robbing them of that maturation process that you're actually a key part of. So the second thing is that it builds up to essentially burnout in you. And I know many of you are probably acknowledging this fact. I've totally been there myself. I've seen this go down the wrong path many times. This also is not just sheer exhaustion. It's also burnout in the form of resentment, where you end up blaming the people that you are actually tasked with leading and teaching. You blame them as you take the work over for them instead of delegating it to them, instead of blaming yourself for not properly investing into their training. So the answer, I think, is essentially don't just do it. Before you just take on that task, think to yourself, am I subverting the process of facilitating somebody else's success and strengthening the team? When the moment comes when you know that you need to delegate, just remember, it may not be perfect. When somebody does the work that you want to do because you know how to do it, it may not be perfect, but it will get there, and it may even exceed your own abilities, and oftentimes it does. If you coach them and bring them up and bring that aptitude up. So that kind of brings up another topic, the whole part about their skills exceeding yours. Some people, I think out of insecurity, unbeknownst to even themselves, a lot of times, want to do things not just for the expediency of it. They want to take over a task, not just because they want to get it done, or they're procrastinating the training that they really don't want to do, but they do it to validate themselves and to showcase their own skills out of a kind of worry that they won't be seen as skilled or respected. After all, don't employees want to see the boss taking on tasks, etc.? Yeah, they do. They do like seeing somebody partake in the work, the communal work, but not to take over things that are theirs to do. It's belittling. And many employees, I would say most employees, have way more respect for facilitation of skills and enabling the success of others rather than having you demonstrate your abilities to them. That only goes so far, and it really doesn't help the organization either. So you're really shooting yourself in the foot there. So don't make it a concern of yours that you need to be the best at everything there is. That's not how you lead. You teach people in the moment so that you can reap the harvest of their skills later. It takes patience. And yes, like I said in the beginning, it's not going to look perfect, but it will eventually. And you won't be saddled with the burden, the self-imposed burden of taking on all of this stuff that should be delegated out to the people who need that work. They literally need that work to grow as individuals and as skilled professionals. So don't rob them of that. Your role should be to produce people that are more skilled, First, because they are specializing in an area, and if you're a manager, generally you're spread out over a larger area where you have to kind of keep tabs on a lot of things, and they're focusing on something really specific. Next, you have to relinquish the idea that you need to be the best. And, if you're in that mentality, it's easy to sometimes even see people low-key sabotage the progress and success of others so that they can maintain this position of being, the one at the top. And that's really just not a good look. So when the time comes for you to make a decision and you're on shift and you know that somebody is not doing dishes properly, and it's easier for you to just jump in and do it yourself, or to even avoid having them start the dishes so you just do it yourself, or whatever the task may be, allow yourself to be the coach. Allow yourself to be the facilitator. Allow yourself to teach in the moment to bring up a really good doer of dishes in that moment. And in the end, it's going to pay off because you're going to have raised up people who are skilled, who know how to do things. And you're not just the one hoarding all of the know-how and all of the responsibilities. And all you have are just people that are essentially in a state of arrested development, professionally speaking. So lean into the work of facilitation, lean into the work of teaching people how to do rather than just doing it yourself. So that's today's episode. I hope that was helpful for you. This is such a relevant topic, especially because there are so many people going into management positions all over, new management. This is a good opportunity not to start off on the wrong foot. And for those of you who have been in management and leadership for a while, and this really is a problem area for you, then just give yourself some grace and know that it's not going to be done perfectly right away, but give away chunks over time, and you'll see the sky open up. You'll see the burden lifted and see others be lifted as well. So thank you everyone for joining me. I hope that you join me next week on another episode of Shift Break from Keys to the Shop.